All right, here we go. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. It's the West Point 25 with Jason and Dale. Dale, always good to see you. If I'm not mistaken, you and Tammy just got done with the little road trip. Where are you?
Yep, we're on our way. Oh, thank you, bud. Yeah, we're on our way we're at Ellis Park right now. I try to make at least one race of meet down here and on opening day. And they treat me good. You see, they set me a fan up. Thank you, buddy.
You need a Diet Coke, too. Someone needs to bring you a Diet Soda.
I'm 6 days in and no Diet Coke.
Ah, very nice. I was going to say, I was going to bring you like a 24 pack at Saratoga. Maybe I'll just bring water. You drinking water?
Water, and at night maybe a little bourbon.
All right.
Yeah, but the doctor called me off Diet Coke. He said he'd rather me drink bourbon.
Yeah, well, you know what? Bourbon's probably, when it comes down to it, it's probably better for you. You know, less chemicals, essentially. You know.
That's what he said.
What kind of bourbon you drink? You have a favorite brand?
Well, you got to drink Woodford, right? Because the sponsor is Kentucky Derby, and not to mention one of my best friends since high school is the president. So I got plenty of Woodford floating around the house.
Good. I like hearing that. So what's the deal, man? Like your summer schedule might be a little bit different this year than in past summers, because with Churchill renovating the turf course, no horses are stabled on the backstretch or can't be stabled on the backstretch. So, I mean, just as far as you setting up shop at Ellis, I mean, get us up to speed with how many you're going to have stabled on the backstretch at Ellis Park.
I'm going to keep 36 down here, and we got 12 stalls at the Sports Spectrum, which is Churchill's training center, and 15 at Saratoga. So that'll cover us all. And you know, we're down here really, we're running a couple of horses, but also go check out the barn, see how the setup is before we ship down on Monday. But I literally grew up on the backside of Ellis Park. This was my summer camp. We'd be at Churchill until the meet was over, and then everybody used to ship down here. Excuse me, I got a little cough going, but this was a great place to grow up. It's like being at we used to be 60 days. We would be here. It was like 60-day county fair.
Well, it was the pea patch. I mean, that's what I know about Ellis Park. It was the nickname was the pea patch. What's the deal with that?
That's because they grow soybeans in the infield.
They still do that?
They still do it. They're growing out there now. This is a very, very fertile river bottom land. And that's why this is really one of the best racetracks in Kentucky. It's 1.8 miles. It's the biggest racetrack in Kentucky other than Kentucky Downs. And it's a river bottom, and it's really always historically been a great racetrack to train over and run over.
Well, what
we
about
used to have a lot of fun. 1980 and 1981, my father was leading trainer here when I guess I was 13 and 14, and we felt like big shots down here.
I bet. And they probably, I got to imagine, I mean, you are you, which is a big deal, but with the lineage too, and your dad, Pops, having won a couple of training titles, I would imagine Ellis is pretty happy to get you back there every summer and to be running horses there.
You know, the truth of the matter is, all these guys I grew up with, I see only during the summer down here, they don't give a damn what I've done. They still want to talk about how we used to play putt-putt over around the corner. And about the time the pony ran off with me on the track, and all the fun we had when we were kids down here. You know, when you're at home, nobody cares.
They don't. Well, dude, I got to hear then the pony running off with you. I can't let you off the hook. Give us that story real fast.
One time I decided I would try to ride a pony around the racetrack, and besides bouncing up and down, some guy took off with me. Couldn't get him pulled up, but I learned real quick. And the horses are all happy. I'm sure that I have no business on the back of a horse. I was only about 13 at the time. Now my brother we'd have 25 horses down here usually. And my brother was 15, I was 14, and he would gallop them all, and I would run the barn. And then he would get on the pony in the afternoon and take horses to the post. And he figured out there's a lot better ways to make a living, became an executive at RJ Reynolds, and retired with millions of dollars, and I'm still out here at Ellis.
And you're still out there hustling, waking up every day at the crack of dawn and, trials and tribulations that come with being a horse trainer. You know, regarding Ellis, though, we've got a filly with you. Obviously, you're training filly by the name of Strong Silent, who's a Wicked Strong. She's running a couple of days from now. It's already July 1st, if you can believe it. Give us a little bit of a backstory, though, with Strong Silent making it to the races in a field, I might add, my friend, that came up insanely deep. I can't believe how tough it is.
It is a tough race. You know, that's a filly. I loved her last year as a 2-year-old, and everybody that's in on her knows she fractured her cannonbone. We put some screws in it. She came back exceptionally well. We took her time to get her here because I think she just got a ton of talent, and I expect her to run a very, very big race.
Okay. So she's doing well.
She is doing well.
Any other 2-year-olds that West Point has in partnership going to be stabled with you at Ellis over the summer, like Officer Nick or a horse like that?
Yeah, I'm going to leave all the 2-year-olds except for the New York bred colt we got. We're going to take him on up to New York with us, but the rest of them will stay down here and get ready right here. And you know, they're all had their little bitty baby 2-year-old things going on, but they're all doing good. I think we had a good group of horses.
Well, even, I mean, with Officer Nick, you basically, the last time we did the podcast, said he's going to need one. So sit this one out. He's going to need a race to get him where I think he needs to be. And he showed good speed and got a little tired. How'd he bounce out of that race at Churchill?
He came out of the race in good shape, and you're right. He did. I know going into it he needed a race, but he's one of those horses. A big, thick colt, I thought would benefit. You know, it'd be like one race is 4 works. So I felt like we moved way forward. He came out of it in good shape, and he's galloping nice every day.
Good. Also, we got King's Ovation. I read every Thursday West Point puts out the sort of the mass horse updates, and our stable is, geez, I don't know how many we have currently. It's probably upwards of around 80 horses from coast to coast, and seems like King's Ovation, who got a good figure, an 80 buyer in his win last out at Indiana Grand. I think he's going to run sometime within the next couple of weeks, right? Right at Ellis Park?
It is. I don't have my book on me right now, but it is the next couple of weeks. It's a 9 horse 3 for 3-year-olds. He's doing super. He'll run well there too. We just have to hope the race goes.
And what are your travel plans then, as far as the 15 stalls, or about 15 stalls, 12 to 15? I can't remember the number you said, as far as going north to Saratoga. I mean, what's your game plan as far as moving up to the spa?
Well, I'll go up there we're sending the horses up this week, but I'll probably go up about the 12th. And then, you know, we've got Lady Traveler. I think we're going to take her with us. She'll be very tough up there. And she came out of her surgery in great shape, and that thing looks perfect, and I couldn't be happier with the way she came back.
She hasn't worked yet since you got her back, has she?
No. She just came back. So she's only been on the track a couple of days. But the scope from the surgeon, the scope from John Garrity, our private vet, the epiglottis looks like it's sitting in a perfect spot.
Did that catch you by surprise? I guess it probably did, because she hadn't had any real throat or breathing issues, right?
No, none at all. And it always catches you by surprise when that happens. And it usually just comes up out of the blue. But I'll tell you, the couple of horses I've had the surgery done to came back and were much better after the surgery. So maybe they were displacing a little bit in the races. You can't, when you scope a horse at rest, you don't see everything that's going on when they're on the racetrack. And by the time they get back to the barn, most of the time they can reset their epiglottis. You know, we've always thought there was a little more to this filly. And I'm kind of hoping that she falls right in the line with Mr. Freeze and Sally's Curling, who went on and won greatest stakes after we did the stroke surgery.
Yeah, no kidding. Geez, yeah. I hope she does fall line and follow those 2 horses. Mr. Freeze, what's he doing? He's still bouncing around?
He's retired, Mr. Freeze, and we're working on doing a stud deal with him. I hope to get him to stand in Maryland this fall or this next winter, and I think if he gets a chance, he's got a chance to be a good one.
All right. Who was he? To Honor and Serve, right? Who was he by? To Honor and Serve?
To Honor and Serve,
remember?
Yeah.
To Honor and
Serve, right?
Well, Live Oak and a huge Bill Mott fan. I had always liked To Honor and Serve a lot. He seemed like the kind of horse when things didn't go his way and he didn't get the absolute perfect trip, he didn't fire or didn't win during his running days or racing days with Bill Mott, but he won the Cigar Mile and Son of Bernardini, who cost a lot of money. I was always a To Honor and Serve fan, and I think that's a good segue, Dale, because with closing day at Churchill Downs last weekend on Saturday, they had their big stakes, including the Stephen Foster. What'd you think of Maxfield coming back for Brendan Walsh?
Maxfield's a good lesson for all of us in racing. You see how well he ran the other day and how much value he keeps adding to himself with the way he's running. Now, you talk about the low and the highs. There's a horse that has it. He's going into the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, second choice, training like a monster. Day of the race, he's got a chip in his ankle. They stop on him and do the right thing. Comes back, get a couple of races. Looks like he's going to be a favorite for the Derby. Consular fractions. Same thing Strong Silent did. Give him the time, do the right thing, and he comes on and he wins the big races like this. And he's going to go on and be a good handicap horse for the rest of the year. Mm-hmm. So injuries that we can fix are not the end of the world.
And the job that Brendan Walsh has done with him as well. I mean, that's been a real
spectacular. Right. Brendan's a good man, a good horse trainer. He's a good friend.
Good guy too, like no ego on him, an Irish guy. He's one of the Irish lads, as I call them. Grew up with a lot of them in Floral Park, New York. A lot of the Irish lads that are either trainers or assistant trainers or exercise riders and just top-notch horsemen. And man, you talk about a shot in the arm getting to train for Sheikh Mohammed with Godolphin, and I think Brendan has stepped up to the plate and then some.
He's done an excellent job. Good young man, too. We played a little golf the other day. I actually just rolled around and tackled him and a couple of guys, but we had a good time the other afternoon.
Well, how's your golf game these days?
I haven't been playing much. It's been a long time. I used to play quite a bit. I was about a 12 handicap at my best, which isn't a good golfer, but I get it around there. But I still go to the club every evening and eat dinner or every afternoon, have some lunch right next to the track. And they were out there playing, so I went and followed them around.
Well, what's
I'm a better heckler than I am player.
Well, that doesn't surprise me. I mean, as fast as your mouth and your brain both move, that doesn't surprise me at all. I was thinking back actually when you're talking about golfing. I think it was Cousin Paul, right? Going back to the first Saturday in May, which if people haven't seen that documentary, right? And it was Cousin Paul, right? That was his name?
Cousin Paul, that's my cousin Paul. That's him. He hit the president of Churchill Downs with a golf ball during the tournament we were playing in. So that's really good for my future.
Yeah, no kidding.
But that was a great, that's a great horse movie. And anybody who hadn't seen it, it sounds bragging because we were in it, but those guys did such a good job showing what it takes to get to the Kentucky Derby, and everything fell into place. I mean, that's a whole story in itself. For the number of horses they started following, they end up with 4 of them in the Derby and the winter. And they started following them in the summer of their 2-year-old year. It was an incredible feat. I don't think it could ever be duplicated.
No, and I mean, landing Barbaro and having all that footage of Barbaro and behind the scenes with Michael Matz and his whole team and that alone time with a horse who was a great horse. Yeah, if you have not seen the first Saturday in May, it is definitely worth checking out. The Hennigan brothers produced it, and I mean, both of them are just greatest guys, right?
They're great guys and became really good friends by following us around all the time. When John started following us, we never thought it was really going to be a movie. So he just folded right into the fold, and he's still in every Derby, every time in Saratoga. He stays with us, and we speak on a regular basis. He's a good fella. It's the second best horse movie in my opinion. Nothing hold on, I don't know where you went. Nothing will ever surpass Let It Ride, but it might be the second best horse movie of all time.
Well, it's funny you say that, and John and Brad Hennigan, by the way, the Hennigan brothers, and you got to check out the first Saturday in May if you haven't. And Dale, during that whole run, you guys had sharp humor. who was by Distorted Humor, I think, and I mean could really
Yeah.
run. Was a better, probably longer sprinter slash miler, but it is
Yeah, he was
funny,
a
Dale.
better miler, but he is the only
No,
the
you're
only
good.
horse
You're
that
good.
made Barbaro. He made Barbaro go to the whip in the Florida Derby. That's his main claim to fame. And Barbaro
Right.
ended up beating us at next. But a mile and a quarter was a little too far.
Well, I gotta think, without looking up Barbaro's record, I mean, regarding his wins, he probably got closest to beating Barbaro than any other horse, right?
I think he did. I think he actually did. And that was a big day. That was he was my very first Derby starter. And,
Was he?
Yeah. So that was a big deal. And I always say, and I'll say it to anybody that asks anymore, I didn't train him well. I gave in to what I thought the press wanted me to do. I didn't really train him the way I normally would have. But I learned a lot that trip. I said, I'm never going to do that again. It was the first time I really had horses under deep scrutiny. That people watching everything and questioning everything you did. And that can get to you. But it doesn't anymore.
Well, I've always heard, I mean, Nick Zito, I remember, explained it to me great. That for your first Derby is kind of like a deer in the headlights, because most guys aren't used to trading under that kind of pressure where everybody is watching every move you make and might be second guessing you. And the Derby is its own animal. But I did want to mention, a week ago, my wife had never seen Let It Ride and got it on DVD. We just watched it about a week and a half ago. And I hadn't seen that movie since I was in high school, probably like 96 or 95, 1995. And I didn't realize, or I forgot, Hialeah was where they filmed it all.
Yeah, it was. And it is the greatest racehorse movie of all time. And you definitely, if you haven't seen it, go watch Let It Ride. And I bet you had a totally different perspective on it after working in the industry as long as you have than you did the first time you saw it.
Yeah, and I saw it as like a wide-eyed kid. Me and a few of my degenerate buddies that always like sneaking over to Belmont after high school.
Bob.
Oh, we got a race going on.
Can you see them running?
Yeah. Saw them running. That's awesome.
Huh? You hear the people cheer? That's why we play this game.
Exactly. Well, speaking of which, Dale, West Point unleashed a more than ready New York bred filly about an hour and a half ago named Ready AP, and she aired first out at Belmont and looked like a really nice one in the making. And a bunch of people were texting me after the race, and I said, this is why we dream big. I mean, this is why we do what we do and what makes this the greatest game on the planet.
It's the oldest and greatest sport in America. And you're right. That's why we do it. And I didn't know that, but I did call the boss about an hour and a half ago, and he bum rushed me. So that must have been right before the race.
Yep, you probably got him just as they were getting ready to go into the gate. But no, she looked good. We'll see her for sure in Saratoga, and we'll see you up there as well. Suburban on Saturday. Skip away. I was looking at some of the greats that have won that race. Kelso won it a couple of times. Suburban Handicap. I know you're a Kentucky guy and grew up at Churchill and Ellis Park, but any thoughts regarding like the history of the Suburban and the kind of mainstay that it's been in New York?
Well, it's such a great old history race. And, if you grew up in racing, you respected all the New York old handicap and older horses race. I'll tell you two quick. Skip Sonny Hines was a good friend of train Skip away. He was telling me because he trialed his father, and he said he took him back, X-rayed him. He had a chip in his ankle, and the guy offered to take. I think he paid $30,000 for him or something. The guy offered to take like $5,000 off so he could have the chip removed himself. And he said no, he didn't want him. He said he was driving home, and his wife Carolyn was just giving him a bunch of grief about she wanted that horse. He said he pulled over the side of the road, did a U-turn, went back, took the horse, took the $5,000, never took the chip out, and the rest was history. It came close to $10 million. So, but I'll tell you another good story about. He was so strong to gallop. When he was in Kentucky for the Breeders' Cup, he was pulling so hard that the rider just collapsed. and fell off the back of it. I never
What?
seen anything like it before or since. And he's laying on the track, and Skipaway just stopped and turned around and looked at him. So Pete walks up and got him. He said, "Let's keep going." He was a cool horse.
Oh, I'm looking right now. 18 for 38, 9.6 million. And I mean, ran coast to coast from his 2-year-old season through the time he was retired. Champion 3-year-old in 96, and then won back-to-back Eclipse Awards as champion older male in 97 and 98. Was a horse of the year in 98, and just what a powerhouse. And like you said, went for 30K or something like that as a yearling or a 2-year-old by Skip Trial out of a bail jumper dam. I mean, just zero pedigree on him. He was a gray freight train, that horse.
He was just a freak of nature, and what a beautiful animal he's standing on the ground. Just a big, strong gray coat. And Sonny was a good man. He was one of those guys that took a lot of time to talk to the younger people in the game and helped everybody. But you want to see old school training, go back and look at his work pattern, how fast and often he would work him. He'd work him 3/4 and 10 between races. And he was just an iron horse, an old throwback.
Definitely. Which reminds me too, Devil is Dues won the Suburban twice. Easy Goer, Invasor, Albert the Great, Lemon Drop Kid. I mean, some really, really great names over the years, man.
I worked the last 2 days over.
Yeah, there is. There's some great names on the list, and it's a good old race. Haven't seen the entries yet, but I'll be watching it.
Yeah, I'll be watching too. Well, I'll tell you what, Dale, next week we'll do a little bit of a recap, and hopefully we're talking about a big career debut out of Strong Silence Saturday at Ellis.
Sounds good, buddy. Talk to you later.
All right. As Dale said last week, West Point Nation, we'll see you next time here on the podcast. See you, Dale.
See you, buddy.
All right.